February 18, 2018. Welcome to another edition of Artists. I'm your host, Omar, Rashada, live right here in Lease Asset Studios. I have a very special guest. He's a financial coach, expert when it comes to money and finances. We have Mr. Jeremy Preston. Good morning. How you doing, bro? All right. E&I LLC, you're a financial coach, and you have an organization and business. I want you to talk about how you got into business and what's it about.
Absolutely. So, I'm a financial coach. I grew up in the South where things were very, I grew up in Mississippi. It was one of the most poor states in the United States. And basically just seeing all of the poverty and people's lack of knowledge of finances kind of got me into financial consulting. I just wanted to put something back in the community and help people improve their financial situations.
You know, when it comes to economics, one of the most things that I've heard, and I know you heard, it's hard to save money.
Absolutely.
You know, people say, Jeremy, look, man, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, man, and I got some spending money here, a little bit there, man, but you know, I ain't got no money to save no money, so how do you respond to that?
Well, so the thing is, it is hard to save money, but it's just as hard as you make it.
Okay.
And it has to be a way of life. You have to have the mindset of, I'm going to save so much of my paycheck, you know, every week or every other week. It has to be a lifestyle. It can't be just a thing where I'm going to pick it up and, I'm going to save a little bit now, but I'm not going to do it next week. It has to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. You have to almost take it like a nutritional diet.
Right.
It's the same thing. You have to have discipline. You have to have, commitment to it.
Right.
And if you do that, it becomes less hard. When you make it a lifestyle as opposed to just an action, it becomes easier to save money.
There are social service agencies and also financial agencies who help individuals develop a monthly budget plan.
Right.
You know, they got a piece of paper of how much this is going to cost, how much that is going to cost, and not all of us do that. So how important is it for the everyday person to develop a monthly budget plan?
It's so important. Matter of fact, I tell all my clients, you know, when you come, like physically, you actually want to put together a document of your expenses versus how much you make. You want to take that document, you want to put it somewhere in your house or your apartment where you can easily see it every day, like your refrigerator or your bathroom door, where you can see it every day, because when you see it, it reinforces, okay, well, these are the expenses that I have to work on. This is the debt that I have to work on. You know, so I always tell people, you know, put it somewhere where you can see it, where it's a constant reminder. Okay, this is your debt. These are your expenses. This is what I need to work on as far as expenses to monthly income.
Let's go back to E&I. What does it stand for?
So EI stands for Economic Intelligence. It's something I came up with when I was in college, and it was a joke that I had amongst friends that they always told me, okay, well, you cheap, you're tight wad, you don't want to go out and do anything and spend money. I said, no, I'm just economically intelligent. So EI kind of basically came from a joke amongst friends, and then I took that concept and basically made it into a philosophy, economic.
And to stay on that concept for a moment, you travel around the United States, I'm not sure around the world.
Yeah.
And talk about your experience. What are some of the major places that you had traveled, and what was it like speaking in front of people when it came to economic and finances?
It was great, especially probably I would say one of my and you're right. I have traveled all over the United States doing financial empowerment seminars and workshops.
Right.
And it was a great experience. You know, I met so many good people along the way. I would say probably one of my most memorable trips was in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I got to speak actually at a women's empowerment convention.
Oh, okay.
It was just great because I met some really good people. I would say the other thing is I actually got a chance to go to the Dominican Republic and speak on financial literacy over there.
Right.
The people over there are very hungry. They want to learn how to save money. Right. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just a great opportunity to do that.
And you wrote a book, right?
Yes. I wrote a book. It's called EI equals Money, 10 Steps to Become Economically Intelligent and Live a Financially Successful Life. The book is only like a 100-page book, real small book, right to the point. 10 steps to improve your financial situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to write a book?
It took me actually, all said and done, about a year
Yeah,
to write the book, publish it.
Right.
You know, there's many methods of publishing. I chose self-publishing,
Okay.
just because I had more control over the content
Right.
that I wanted to put in the book, the material.
Right.
You know.
And when it comes to finances, one word that you hear a lot start with I. It's called investment.
Yes.
College investment, buying a home. Speak for a moment. Let's first go to buying a home, because there are people who rent, and then people just tell me, man, look, if you rent, you're throwing away all that money. If you buy a home, you get to save.
And that's a good point. I tell all my clients, you know, when you make an investment, make sure it's always a wise investment. Do your research, see where the economy is, because a lot of times buying a home is a good investment. But then if you buy a home in an area that is not appreciating, then you know it could actually end up being a loss. So I say do your research first, look at all the economic factors, and then make a wise decision as far as investments.
Okay, college. That can be so controversial at times. But people say, look, man, I spent all this money on college. I got a master's degree. I can't find a job in my field. I work at a restaurant. I work at a retail store. And I have a degree in business administration, or I have a degree in economics, or a degree in journalism or social work, and I can't even find a job in my field. So now I got to pay salary made back money that I don't even have. So what is your take on people who, in terms of investing in college?
Well, I tell you that I'm glad you asked the question, because that is one of the biggest questions I have with my clients, and that is, should I tell my children to go to college or not? I would say overall, a college is a good investment, but there are certain times where if you're majoring in, say, something that is a widely is oversaturated career or profession, then you're not you got $100,000 in loans, but you're only making $30,000 a year. That might not be a good thing.
Right.
Sometimes it's better to go for a trade, go to a trade school, go to the military, go to a college is not always the best option, and you really have to weigh the pros and cons. Like if in the early '90s, everybody wanted to be a lawyer. Well, now it's saturated with lawyers. You got a lawyer on every corner now, so the salaries are a lot less than they were in the '90s. I would say if you can do a trade school or something, a less a more a less saturated career, I would say go in that direction.
Earlier we talked about social organizations, financial organizations doing a monthly budget for their clientele, and some of the people that they're working with have a fixed budget. They might get monthly entitlements of SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and they definitely live in check by check. So would you encourage those who have a fixed budget to maybe find some other means of income, so they won't just rely on $700 a month, and then after the second week of the month, they broke?
And it's a sad reality that Social Security is not going to be available the way it is now. Say 10 to 15 years from now. So you can't rely on that for as a retirement means. I would definitely say when it comes to making investments, like if you have land, if you could flip houses, if you can play the stock market, I would definitely say use those means to be able to get to that retirement income, because again, Social Security is just not going to be there. You can't really rely on it. Honestly, the experts are saying it's it'll be half of like what Social Security is right now. You'll have half of that, in the next 10, 15 years. So it's definitely not something you can rely on for retirement.
I know of older adults, maybe in their 60s and 70s, who are retired, but still need to work. Through your research, are you finding a lot of that?
Absolutely. And it's sad, somebody that gets to the age of 65 or 70, and you find yourself having to work because you have to, to make ends meet. And it is unfortunate. That's why you can't rely on Social Security. You have to have other means of retirement income. Again, 401k, investment property, things of that nature.
Right. So someone comes to your office and says, Jeremy, Mr. Preston, I'm unemployed. I lost my job. Well, what can I do? So what do you say to those who, because there's a lot of people, because of downsizing or the company closed, that currently unemployed and may not be blessed to find jobs in that particular area. So they may have to may go to school, had to go to school to major in something else so they can
Right.
get another job. So, what's your take on that?
I would definitely say first thing is take advantage of unemployment insurance, unemployment benefits. So the money, you work for the money. So through the state, you're entitled to get a certain amount of money back from unemployment. That's the first step. The next step is you're gonna go on what I call the EI financial diet. So a lot of things, you might have gone out to eat every other week.
Right.
You're gonna cut that out. And
Right.
so then it has to be, okay, what can I do? What could I cut out of my monthly budget to be able to save more money? Because now I'm not making, I don't have the ability to make that kind of money monthly.
Right.
So now I gotta cut some of the expenses that I was doing before.
Okay, we got about 2 minutes remaining. You want to just give a brief synopsis of your educational background? If someone wants to reach you, how can they contact you?
Absolutely. So I'm a financial coach. I have been a financial coach for about 10 years. I teach people how to better their financial status. You can reach me at theeisolution.com. And also I have a website. I have Facebook, Jeremy G. Preston, or EI Economic Intelligence.
And have your phone number up there. So
Yeah, and that's that is my
312?
number.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, or if you want to book me for a seminar, or just if you want me to go over your finances, feel free to reach out to me. Whether it be phone call or email, or through my website.
Okay, Jeremy, thanks a lot for coming on.
Absolutely.
This morning.
Thanks for
You
having
got a lot of
me on.
knowledge, man.
Absolutely.
Live right here on Lease Assets Channel 28. You're watching Artists. We're going to take a short break, and I'll return with my next guest. Welcome back to Artists. I'm your host, Omar Rashada. Now joining me live at the studio are two lovely ladies. They are spoken word artists. I have Tosha Hackett, aka Miss Prosperity, and I have Amanda Love. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Omar. How are you?
All right, pretty good, pretty good. Let's start off with Tosha. What got you into wanting to be a spoken word artist?
Well, I talk a lot. So by me talking so much, I just ask God, why do I talk so much? And why do I talk so loud when everybody else is quiet? So he said, here you go, take this pen and start writing. And I just start writing.
So it just went from there, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Amanda?
I was 9, and we were in class learning about Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou, and we were learning how to write haikus. And the very first time, my teacher, she just was blown away by a 9-year-old writing this poem. But you know, since the time I was 5, I was like, I want to be a pop star. You know, I knew I was going to be a superstar. I was like, either that or I'm going to be a gospel singer like Whitney Houston. You couldn't tell me, you know, that I didn't have what it took. And from there, I just pretty much fell in love with the art. You know, I've done poetry, I've done rap, I've done songs. I'm now in the process of writing a book. My biography or autobiography. And
okay, so you got many talents.
Yeah.
So what type of poems do you ladies write? Do you write poems based on personal experiences, or do you just be creative with it and do like a nonfiction? Oh, I'm sorry, like a fiction poem. How do you go about writing your poems?
Well, I live in the inner city, so unlike Miss Love, she wrote poems in school. I didn't write poems in school. I wrote poems from me actually walking outside my door, seeing things that went on, and I was like, whoa, you know, if you walk outside your door and you see something that you've seen on TV before, then now this is something to write about. So I come back in my house after seeing what I seen outside, and I just start writing about it, and it went from there.
All right, Amanda?
So I did learn how to write poems in school, but you know, as I stated, I was a writer before I knew I was a writer. Okay. So at the age of like 5 and 6 years old, I would sit there and write rhymes if my mom upset me or something. I would write a poem, and I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I was writing to myself, you know. And as time went on, it kind of manifested into writing about what was going on around me and calling action to like the inequality of the inner city and people of, you know, our texture. And I just felt like I wanted to change that or impact or shake the barrier in some type of way.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to give you ladies the opportunity to do one poem. So we're gonna start off with Amanda and then Prosperity. So you want to start off and do one of your poems? Let the audience know how good you are.
Okay. So because this is Black History Month, I wrote this poem. I was 16 when I wrote this poem.
Okay.
And it goes like this. We are a people of image that worship idols, that is deaf to a preacher's voice, unguided and have no spiritual choice. We chase after money. We think violence and guns and killing people is funny. We are ignorant and knowledge less. See, we have no interest in our ancestors. The roots from whence we came is a shame. All the pain they had to sustain, and we forgot everything. Fought so hard for us to be free. Seems like we forgot that we still have black faces. They was fighting for you and me. Now fast, but silently. We're falling back into slavery. We're right back at where they want us to be, unintelligent, not knowing what's going on around us. We find ourselves taking public transportation. Did you ever notice how the young kids love to sit in the back of the bus? We came here. We wore shackles and rags. They priced and sold us off by numbers and tags. We didn't carry no luggage nor bags. Girls didn't have hairdos. Men didn't wear do-rags. We slept and peed in the same spots. Only hairstyles back then was dreadlocks and knots. We take for granted what little we have. Somewhere down the road, we wandered off that righteous path. It's time for us to sit down and do the math. 1 + 1 = you and me. We got to face our reality and take in perspective on what we want our lives to be. Is this the reality you want to live in? Filled with lies, deception, corruption, misery, and sin. It's time we realize beauty and wealth is not what we see. It's a part that grows within you and me. See, in God's image, we were created. And in our souls, his mark is painted. We should praise his name and live by his word and let everything else be unheard.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Now it's time for Prosperity. Go ahead, Prosperity.
All right. Well, since today is the day everybody wants to go to church, and I'm just going to say something on a spiritual note, a little bit differently. So, on that note, bestiality, infant mortality, adulterers, murderers, liars, uncleanness, thieves. I'm talking about stuff that your mind couldn't possibly conceive to do if you believe. Fornication in a nation. Fornication to a nation of sinners. Believe in something so your soul could be a winner. And look at those who don't even pray before they eat their dinner. People don't honor thy neighbor anymore because the old married man, he's sleeping with the teenage boy next door. And then when he goes home, he occasionally beats his wife down to the floor. He often goes outside in his drunken pride, picks up a whore, and he sodomizes her till she can't take it no more. AIDS-infested wombs, killers with guns that go boom. Little girls get wrecked in dark bathrooms. The aftermath of Katrina being left with no home. People are sleeping in the terror dome with child molesters and pedophiles roam. Idol worshiping. They lusting for skin. All this sin. All this sin.
All right, that's great. That's great, ladies. All right, ladies, there's 1 minute left before we close out. Any words of encouragement you want to say about Black History Month? We'll start off with Prosperity and then Amanda Love.
Words of encouragement is to my people, pick up a book, read, go get a loan, look for a financial advisor, anything else. Put your phones down sometimes. Take time out to talk and have a regular conversation instead of texting. Get off of these corners because the same people who stand there will be there tomorrow. You know, go get some education, you know, and that's all I can tell you. Put the guns down. Please put these guns down and stop the violence because every life matters.
Amen.
Yeah, I just want to tell parents to talk to your children, read to your children, communicate. Ask your children about their day. Tell them about their grandparents. Let their grandparents talk to them. We've lost a sense of community, you know, with this new generation that's coming up. You don't have to play music all the time. They don't have to be on those phones, on those video games, watching TV all day. Me and my kids talk regardless if they want to or not. You know, we will sit down, we will have 3 and 4 hour conversations. You can watch the videos for 3 and 4 hours, be on these phones for 6 and 12 hours. Let's have some communication with our family. Bring that back because this is what these children need in order for them to have a successful future.
All right, on that note, ladies, I'd like to thank you both for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And thank you for tuning in to another edition of Artists. I'll be back in 2 weeks. God bless and have a safe week.